Did you switch to a plant-based diet hoping to lose weight and the scale is just stuck and you're not? Well, I'm going to give you the 5 most common reasons people don't lose weight on a plant-based diet. So I'm a doctor and I get lots of patients who come to see me, and many times their number one complaint is I need to lose weight. They don't feel comfortable in their own skin, they don't feel comfortable in their clothes, they're having lots of different health issues, many related to obesity or being overweight. So we move them to a whole food plant-based diet and they don't lose weight. Or maybe they lose a little in the beginning and then they get stuck. So what are the complicating factors of eating this diet that will prevent you from losing weight? Well, there's a few things that I see that are a common thread with my patients and those who fail and those who actually succeed in what they're doing. So number 1, it's the processed vegan foods. Okay, so many people love the idea that they can still have their burger, be plant-based, and they think it's a healthy option. It is absolutely not. Now, are these great transitional foods to help us? Is this a better choice for the planet and for the animals? Of course, but it is not better for your human health. When you look at the list of ingredients on these processed foods, and I'm talking even the Beyond Meat burgers, the Impossible burgers, whatever they are, or any processed food that you can get from that says vegan on it, but it's literally vegan junk food. These are not healthy options. Just because it's vegan doesn't mean that it's healthy. So by eliminating those, that's a huge component. Now, like I said, on occasion, or if you're really struggling, they can be used as transitional foods, but there needs to be a short-term goal of getting off of them. Number 2, inclusion of oil. So 1 tablespoon of oil is 120 calories of pure fat. So what do we think pure fat does in the body? Well, fat is absorbed and it goes and it is stored in its fat cells because the body's like, ooh, look at this. This is like easy fat to store for a later day when maybe there's no food around. So these type of fats, like Dr. Badougal said, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. I need to actually get a shirt like that. That's a perfect example of when we consume a high fat foods. The fat will be utilized sometimes for energy, but most of the time it's going to be stored for a rainy day. So oils that you're putting on a variety of foods, oils that are found in processed foods, there's nothing healthy about oil. Oil is again, like I said, it's a processed food. This is not a food you're going to find in nature. Now, on occasion, if you go out to eat and there's some oil in an entree or a food, that's fine, but that needs to be the rare occasion and not the commonality. So if you can remove oil, all the more better, because the less calories that you're consuming, the faster you're going to see your weight result. Now, I got to be careful with that because anyone that has a history of anorexia or bulimia or some type of food eating disorder, I don't want you focusing on calories. What we want to be focusing on is healthy food consumption. So we do have to be careful. But what I'm talking about here is the everyday person that comes to see me is like, I can't lose weight, I'm eating all these foods, help me figure out what I'm doing. Well, oftentimes it's that salad dressing, they forget that they put, a quarter cup or a half a cup on, and that's an extra 300 to 500 calories, and it's oil laden. So that's one way to look at it. The third thing that we often do is snacking. So, there's so much food abundance that many times that we do mindless eating. So we're eating when we're watching television, we're eating while we're driving, we're eating while we're watching our kids, practice their sports, we're eating while we're cooking meals, we're eating at all times because food abundance is literally everywhere. So if you stop the mindless snacking, because you're not even really hungry, it's recreational eating, you will find that you'll decrease your calories significantly and hence start probably losing some of the weight. But these are just things that people don't even think about. They've literally finished, it's kind of like going to the movies, right? And you get the big bucket of popcorn, and before the previews are over, you've already eaten the bucket. You're like, hey, who ate my popcorn? It's the same idea with, those nuts that are hanging out over there, or that little, granola bar that you like on your way out the door. You just mindlessly grab it. Or if you're sitting and watching television, or if you get bored at work, you find things to do, and many times that's eating unnecessary calories. So those are the three. Here's another one, is drinking our calories. Liquid calories, juices, so you got to be careful with smoothies, all these amazing coffees that you can go pick up from Starbucks and other little coffee spots. So you got to be careful about thinking about how many calories am I actually drinking each day. Now, I'm not here to say that you shouldn't consume, for example, smoothies, which are a great way to get down your greens and stuff, but just start thinking about how quickly you're drinking it. Are you drinking it slowly so you feel satiated? Gives it time for the body to slowly absorb those calories and the glucose and everything that comes with it. But just be thinking of all the different places that you may be consuming calories mindlessly, such as the drinking. Now, the fifth and final reason is eating too much of the calorie-dense plant foods. These are going to be things like nuts, are a big one, nut butters, avocados, things like that. Some people, when I'm looking at their food logs, and they'll be eating half a cup and a half of nuts a day, some nut butters. They may be having an entire avocado. So these are foods that I'm not saying they're not healthy for you, but in large quantities, they're going to hinder your goals. And in large quantities, they're not as healthy for you as other foods that they're taking place of. So let's think about the nuts. I always like to remind my patients, when I was younger, we would get nuts in our Christmas stockings, and it would take forever. Like those walnuts or those pecans, it would take you 20 minutes to get a handful of nuts. Well, that's probably about what you should be consuming a day, because by the time you got the handful, you're like, this is so much work and my fingers hurt from picking all the nut meat out of the shell that you just didn't want anymore. So it's kind of think of it that way. If we actually got the nuts in their normal way they're presented to us from nature, we probably would not eat as much. But now we get them shelled, they're coming in these bags, and they're easy to consume. So nut butters also, 2 tablespoons should be considered about that quarter cup or handful of nuts you should be consuming a day at the max. So there's the 5 things. Are you eating processed foods? Are you still consuming oils? Are you drinking your calories? And then are you eating these foods that are just naturally calorically dense? And then are you snacking throughout the day? So if you look at your day and keep a food journal for, I'd say, like 3 to 5 days, you may see some of those ideas, or you may see some of those things causing you some trouble that you didn't really think would be an issue. Because oftentimes you'll hear, oh, on a plant-based diet, you can eat all the food you want. No. Now, if you eat the lower calorie foods like fruits and vegetables and still consume some of the whole grains and some of the other things like beans and stuff, that's fine, that's healthy. You'll have a hard time overeating on that. But when you start bringing in other still healthy plant foods, but too much of them, that can be an issue. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, please comment below. We'd love to hear, your comments, how we can make this better. But also if you have any questions, I'll be picking up 1 question a week and trying to answer it for you and give you some, at least some starting advice on where to go with your questions. So I hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Before you go though, please hit the subscribe button and the alert button so you will be notified whenever we upload any new videos. On Monday, we upload the Healthy Human Revolution podcast. Now, if you'd rather listen to the podcast, you can find it on all the major platforms such as iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and even Spotify. On Tuesdays, we upload the Doctor's In. This is where I answer your questions. Thinking of that, could you please comment below any questions you might have about health or wellness, or any topics that you would like me to cover? Now, if you're looking for more resources on how to start a plant-based diet, sustain a plant-based diet, exercise, recipes, anything regarding wellness, we've got you covered. check out healthyhumanrevolution.com. And again, thanks for watching.